Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the Shineability Show, coming to you live from our new camper. Yay, so exciting. It was not my plan to come live in here today, but for some reason, the Wi-Fi in my house is just jacked up and I cannot get a signal, so I said, hey, why not come out to the camper and just use, the regular old 4G LTE signal. So, if you haven't been here before, my name is Robin Carberry. I am a business coach and a personal development coach, and I come here live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to talk all things shineability. So, what is shineability? Shineability is the melding of the things that you love with the things that you are really good at and passionate about to create a life that you're excited about today, right now, and in the future. Because I don't want anybody sitting and just watching the clock until it's time to retire, right? All right, so I'm just going to give you a little look-see around. We have a lovely window there, the Murphy bed, the door, and our little kitchen. So yeah, that's it. It's tiny. It's the camper version of a tiny home. So that's not what I'm here to talk about today. And I'll tell you a little bit more as we go down the road about why we bought the camper and where we are going. But get back on track, Robin. By the way, as you come in, please say hey, let me know you're here. Drop any questions you have in the comments. Even if I don't catch them during the live, I will go back and answer them after the fact. So what am I here to talk about today? I want to talk a little bit about scarcity and abundance, and operating from a place of scarcity as opposed to operating from a place of abundance. So what does that even mean? What does scarcity mean? Scarcity is the opposite of abundance. It means there's a limited supply. It means there's not enough to go around. It means that you look at things as disappearing, going away, sort of like last thing on the shelf, last opportunity to do whatever. That's what scarcity is. So Stephen Covey says it better than I do. He talks about the scarcity mentality in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. I have some notes here because he says it better than I do. So what he says is most people are deeply scripted in what this being Stephen Covey, call the scarcity mentality. They see life as only having so much, as though there are only one pie there. And if somebody were to get a big piece of the pie, it means that there's less for everybody else. And that the scarcity mentality is the zero-sum paradigm of life. So why is this especially resonant right now? The pandemic has put us in a situation where many of us are looking at scarce resources. There's only so much toilet paper out there. There are only so many chicken thighs on the shelf in the grocery store. There are only so many jobs out there. So we are acting from a place of scarcity when we go and we grab that last roll of toilet paper off the shelf, even though we don't need it, right? Or we grab that last packet of ground beef out of the freezer in the grocery store, even though we don't need it. And we take things, we grab things, we go after things that aren't really something that makes sense for us, or isn't really something we need, because we have this fear that the resources are going to disappear on us, that there isn't going to be anything left. And that is operating from a place of scarcity. So it makes sense in these sorts of situations that we are all sort of getting trained to think that way. And if you already came to your world and your place where you are right now with that sort of mindset, then it's just getting emphasized and reinforced by all the things that are happening around us. And that is why it's even more important to focus on abundance and to think in a way that makes abundance important and makes abundance a place that you operate from. So what operating from a place of scarcity does, not only is it not fun to feel that way, but it's not good for us in the long term. It's actually detrimental, because what we are doing is we are reacting in the moment. We aren't acting in our best long-term interests. We are investing everything in what's happening today as opposed to taking a longer term view. So you might do something that looks like it's a right decision for you right now, but it may not be if you really step back and look at it all and come to it from a place of abundance. So what does coming from a place of abundance mean? And I'm actually going to go back to Stephen Covey and quote him, because it does sound like a lot more fun to come from a place of abundance. So what he says is the abundance mentality flows out of a deeper inner sense of personal worth and security. It's the paradigm that there is plenty out there and enough to spare for everybody. It results in sharing of prestige, of recognition, of profits, of decision making. It opens possibilities, options, alternatives, and creativity. Now, doesn't that sound so much better than like there's just a big pie out there and somebody takes a big honking piece and then everybody else has got to dive for the crumbs, right? So how do you move, especially in times like this, from a place of scarcity to a place of abundance when you feel like there are limited opportunities out there? So one thing you can really focus on that helps is gratitude, is being grateful for where you are right now in this moment today and what that means. So it may even mean being grateful for limited resources or grateful for an opportunity that didn't go quite the way you wanted to. Why is that? It's back to taking the longer term perspective. So I know there are plenty of times in my life where I went for a job, or I went for, I submitted a proposal to a client for something, or I had a discovery call with somebody and it didn't go the way I hoped it would in that moment. But I would say 99 times out of 100, and I really believe that it's that big of a percentage, disappointment in the moment, sure. But when I looked back at it, over time, I realized that that really wasn't the right thing for me. That wasn't the right direction for me to go. And what it did is it lit a fire under me to really find the right path for myself. And, opened the door for another opportunity to come in that it was actually more aligned and better for me in terms of what I wanted to do. So does that mean it's fun or easy in the moment when something doesn't go your way? No. But if you step back and say, okay, I'm grateful for this situation turning out the way it did because it is opening my path to something bigger and better, then that just feels better, doesn't it? It just feels better. And it really sets your brain in gear to look for opportunities, to look for those better situations than it would if you just sort of sat back and said, oh gosh, that opportunity's gone. That means there isn't anything else out there for me. So I've got to scrabble and scratch and hustle really hard to find some other thing, right? So, abundance and scarcity. I'm going to finish on this thought. I hope you all have a wonderfully abundant rest of the week. And if you need any support or you have any questions, please, like I said, just drop them in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you next Wednesday.